Hi Dragons, welcome back. We're progressing to part 2 of our project now. So I'm in the Google Slides called How Many Ways, and the directions as usual. Mini lesson number 1 helped you know how to use the app in order to fill up a bunch of rectangular prisms using only 24 cubes. Then we were supposed to fill out all our possibilities in this chart. Technically, shape number 1, the most basic of the shapes, could not be created using the app, so that's a little bonus there. I put some stars by that. But in example number 2, if you go back to the original video, we did do a shape that was 1 by 2. So its base was 2. Area of the base was 2. And then it took 12 layers to stack it all the way up to fill up with 24 cubes. So that was your first example that we did together. It was a very skinny rectangular prism. So there we go. You've got an answer for shape number 2. We did another shape together as well. You can go back, fill that in your chart. Then you have some reflection questions, but I want to scoot down to this part. This part is challenging. So now we're saying, okay, each cube isn't just, 1 by 1 by 1. Each cube is only 1/2 an inch. So it's like 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. So all these little cubes. Let me see if I have any from the classroom. I probably don't. I don't. Okay. These tiny little cubes, instead of being 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch, they are 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. So they're these tiny little cubes that are filling up your rectangular prism. So take out your calculator. Type in 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. Each cube has a very tiny volume, very itty bitty. So you can put it in as a decimal or a fraction. Here we go. So now we're going to go back to number 2 because it's saying find the volume of your shape now that you know the size of the itty bitty little cubes. And we really don't know that without doing some serious math. If your first length in the original table here was 1, we agree it's 1, I would have to do 1 times 1/2 to know that the new length is just 1/2. I would have to do 2 times 1/2 to know what? That your new width is really how much? What is 2 times 1/2? 1. So I am 1/2 inch by 1 inch. What does my base look like now? Before, the bottom layer had 2 cubes. But now that we're talking about inches and not cubes, we're talking about an actual measurement, not an object, we would be 1/2 by 1 inch. Make that really clear for you. 1/2 inch times 1 inch would equal 1/2 square inches. Now we still are only using 24 cubes. So the height was 12, right? Remember back here? The height was 12 in pink. 12 times 1/2, because we know each height of the little baby cube is now 1/2, equals how much? 6 inches, right? So what is the new volume, not in cubes, in cubic inches? It would be 1/2 times 1 times 6. 1/2 times 1 times 6. You're going to get 3 cubic inches. So you're translating all your original shapes with this new, more complicated math. Good luck.